Major update, guys. So we made it into Texas yesterday, and the flight was actually pretty rough. It wasn't extremely long.
In the remote Alaskan wilderness, a startling discovery inside Bear Brown's shelter has sent shockwaves through the community and his fans. What once seemed like a peaceful refuge for the reality star quickly became the focus of a tense investigation, with allegations threatening his freedom. Yet questions remain. Was the situation truly as it appeared, or is there more beneath the surface? Known as the King of the Extreme for his daring exploits, Bear's recent troubles challenge how well we understand the man behind the legend and what secrets his shelter may hold. Initial discovery and tensions. Just moments ago, the Alaskan bush people community was rocked by a startling raid on Bear Brown's shelter, a place long thought to be a sanctuary for the rugged reality star. A team of armed law enforcement officers arrived unexpectedly, sweeping through the remote compound with a search warrant and intense determination. The sudden intrusion shattered the calm of the wilderness, leaving Bear, his siblings, and neighbors in a state of shock. For years, Bear's shelter symbolized safety and resilience, but now it stands at the center of a controversy no one anticipated. The operation was the result of a lengthy investigation, with authorities reportedly monitoring Bear's movements and preparing carefully before making their move. While Bear remained composed during the raid, the weight of the accusations hung heavily in the air. His siblings rushed to his side, refusing to let him face the situation alone despite the overwhelming show of force. Resistance was minimal, but the tension crackled with every whispered conversation and searching glance among the family. What drove this extraordinary police action remains nerve-wracking for many. Rumors had long swirled around Bear's activities after past turmoil, but nothing had ever been substantiated. Until now. The nature of the allegations was grave enough to warrant a forceful and thorough search, raising questions about what might finally be uncovered. Despite the apparent seriousness, early efforts yielded no immediate evidence, deepening the mystery and anxiety surrounding the raid. Bear's shelter itself is no ordinary cabin. It's an architectural testament to survival in one of the world's harshest climates. Constructed with meticulous care, using traditional notching and insulation techniques, it was designed to endure brutal Alaskan winters. The structure's sturdiness reflects Bear's own toughness, but beneath its walls, unseen conflicts may have been brewing for some time. What secrets could such a well-defended space be hiding? The community and fans of the Alaskan bush people are grappling with disbelief. Bear has always been portrayed as a survival expert, a man who thrived in adversity without succumbing to darker forces. To imagine that his trusted shelter might harbor incriminating material feels like a betrayal to those who admired his perseverance. Still, the unfolding events suggest that reality might be more complicated than appearances. With law enforcement combing every corner of the shelter, the family's fate now hinges on what will surface. The suspense builds not only among those involved, but across online forums and social channels where fans share speculation and support. This incident threatens to redefine Bear's public image and the legacy of a family long celebrated for their off-grid way of life. The question looming over everything is if the truth will vindicate or condemn him. Alongside the search, Bear's refusal to cooperate fully and his faint responses hinted at deeper struggles. The psychological weight of the situation was visible in brief moments when his calm gave way to uncertainty. His siblings' protective instincts kicked in, but even their presence couldn't quell the storm gathering outside the shelter's walls. The tension is palpable. Everyone awaits the moment when facts will replace rumors. The leader of the operation pushed for results, demanding thoroughness even in the face of disappointment from earlier fruitless searches. But what would be found next could change everything, and soon. Bear Brown's background and reputation. To understand the full impact of this raid, it's important to revisit Bear Brown's remarkable story and why he holds such a unique place in the hearts of fans worldwide. Born to Billy and Amy Brown, Bear grew up in a life defined by survival on the unforgiving Alaskan frontier. From an early age, he developed skills that transcended ordinary knowledge. Hunting, building, and adapting to nature's extremes became his lifeblood. His journey from a struggling youth to the king of the extreme made for compelling television and inspired many. Bear's charisma and grit propelled him to become the most beloved cast member of Alaskan bush people, capturing millions of viewers with his fearless exploits. His dedication to family and wilderness adventure painted a portrait of a man capable of facing any challenge, even in the world's harshest conditions. Survival was not just a theme in Bear's life. It was a daily commitment. The pressures and dangers of living off-grid tested his resolve continually, and he often emerged stronger. Fans admired how he bore the mental and physical tolls of his environment without complaint and with an infectious zeal that made him an icon of rugged determination. Despite fame, Bear's reputation was once tarnished by legal troubles. In March 2022, he was arrested on domestic assault charges, but was released without bond after authorities found no substances or evidence of strangulation. He later accepted a plea deal and appeared to change, embracing fatherhood and a more responsible life. This past incident added layers of complexity to his public image, capturing both criticism and sympathy. Bear's personal life has proven as challenging as the wilderness he inhabits. After finding love, his world briefly brightened, only to face turbulent situations that pushed him to the edge. Support from family and fans kept him afloat, but he remains a figure marked by both triumphs and trials. Each chapter in his life adds context to the man behind the rugged exterior. His refuge was a tangible reflection of his character. Designed with the cooperation of his brothers Bam Bam and Gabe, it was a mixture of traditional craftsmanship and his personal concept of safety and comfort. For the onlookers, the cabins had come to symbolize not merely a protection from nature, but a sanctuary from the hazards that might be hidden in the woods. This very image is now at risk due to the recent incidents, which have begun to shake the very core of Bear's legacy. Bear's positioning as a survival expert, which he had maintained for years, brought him a considerable amount of respect and recognition. But it was also a double-edged sword, as it brought him critics and skeptics who questioned his legitimacy. The current disclosures do nothing but reinforce such doubts and pull the trust that had been built up with fans and family over the years into the abyss. Despite all his accomplishments, Bear is now in a position of being asked questions that no one had dared to ask before. Bears are a mounting pressure point. However, he doesn't let it turn him into a non-hero, but a hero in human-like cultural life, and that. He represents the struggle between the weaknesses of the world's support and the hardiness of the frontier. His narration is still entrancing, but perhaps even more so now that every new obstacle that arises is viewed as a threat to his reputation of being invincible. There is more to uncover about the investigation, and the next phase deepens the mystery surrounding Bear's alleged involvement in activities that contradict his public persona. The investigation and accusations. The raid on Bear Brown's shelter was predicated on serious accusations that he was engaged in illegal substance activity, specifically substance trafficking. These claims stemmed from intelligence reports collected over years of surveillance, including undercover operations in the vast Alaskan wilderness. Authorities believed they had enough evidence to justify a full-scale search and intervention. The law enforcement team, reportedly a specialized squad, arrived with clear directives: find incriminating evidence and arrest Bear if the allegations proved true. Their presence was overwhelming, involving at least 15 armed officers prepared for resistance and equipped for a thorough investigation. From the outset, the officers made it clear they were there on serious business. Bear's initial responses to interrogations were cautious and minimal. He denied any wrongdoing or possession of illegal substances. His siblings Bam Bam and Gabe demanded to see proper warrants and stood firmly by him, unwilling to let the investigation proceed unchecked. Despite their defiance, cooperation was limited by circumstances and authority. As the search progressed, officers scoured every nook and cranny of the shelter, leaving no space unexamined. Early reports from the team were disheartening for investigators. No obvious illegal substances or paraphernalia emerged immediately. This only intensified efforts, as disappointment fueled a more invasive sweep. Rumors and fears ran rampant among the community. Some questioned if Bear was being set up or if the allegations were part of a targeted attempt to dismantle the Brown family's reputation. The Brown siblings discussed the possibility of hidden truths within their brother's life and debated whether Bear might be hiding something even from them. The climax of the search arrived when officers discovered a white substance wrapped and tied in rubber bands. Tension froze the room as Bear and his family awaited confirmation on the nature of this material. The initial assumption was damning, fueling whispers of impending charges for possession and trafficking of narcotics. Bear maintained his innocence despite mounting pressure. Questioning the scientific basis for identifying the substance as an illegal substance. His skepticism hinted at doubts about the integrity of the investigation and sparked hope among his supporters. The drama highlighted a complex clash between allegations and the need for conclusive proof. As forensic testing began, the stakes grew higher, and the entire Alaskan Bush people family braced for results that could either condemn or exonerate Bear. The community's future, his freedom, and the family's legacy all hung precariously in the balance, intensifying every moment of suspense. The unfolding investigation promises revelations that will ultimately shape Bear Brown's fate, whether it confirms the darkest suspicions or clears the path for redemption. Family reactions and support. As the raid unfolded, Bear Brown's siblings, Bam Bam and Gabe, quickly stepped into protective roles, their loyalty never in doubt despite the chaos surrounding them. Both brothers confronted the law enforcement team with demands for proper warrants and transparent explanations, refusing to let the situation escalate without due process. Their bravery in the face of heavily armed officers showed the depth of family bonds forged through years of shared hardship in the Alaskan wilderness. Even as fear and uncertainty gripped them, their determination to support Bear remained unwavering. Throughout the search, Bam Bam and Gabe exchanged hushed words, grappling with disbelief and concern. Questions surfaced about whether Bear had secrets even they didn't know. Was the allegation true, or was their brother being unfairly targeted? Bam Bam expressed his fear but also clung to hope, reminding himself and his brother that Bear's innocence was worth defending. Their private conversations revealed the difficult balance between doubt and faith that family members often face in moments of crisis. The siblings' protective instincts were not only verbal, they even positioned themselves around Bear, a human shield that represented their togetherness and gave them strength emotionally. This act of loyalty was very much felt by the fans who had admired the Brown family's close connection for a long time. For most people, Bam Bam and Gabe were the personifications of loyalty during the tough times, and they brought to light the human cost of reality television drama. At the same time, family secrets mingled with the natural sounds of the Alaskan wilderness. A refreshing breeze, animal calls from afar, creating an eerie background for the already tense situation. This contrast pointed out the very delicate transition from peace to upheaval in their secluded world. The remoteness, which had once given the Brown family their strength, now seemed to be their weakness, as the media and the police closed in with their unyielding forces of scrutiny and pressure. They did not surrender, but the siblings were also aware of the possible consequences that might be dealt to Bear and to the family legacy. The Browns had already experienced public disbelief and scorn over the years, and now the latest scandal might drag their name through even deeper mud. Bam Bam's fears, whispered about losing everything, were actually the fears of all that their hard-earned good reputation could be gone in a moment. Gabe was the one who took the quiet, but no less important role behind the scenes. He went forward and talked to the raid leader to lessen the tensions. His efforts to talk with the officers showed a desperate wish to lessen the harm done and to secure Bear's future. Gabe, although he felt the great weight of responsibility, was calm, and that was a stabilizing factor in the midst of growing panic. This family dynamic unfolded not only as a response to crisis, but as a testament to their enduring commitment to each other. Years of surviving together in the harshest conditions had forged a bond that no investigation or accusation could easily break. It was this strength that allowed them to face uncertainty with courage and hope, even as the situation seemed to worsen. Yet, even with unwavering support, the siblings could not ignore the shadow looming over Bear. The looming charges, the public scrutiny, and the potential unraveling of their lives weighed heavily on their minds, setting the stage for the next critical phase of the investigation, the revealing of the so-called evidence. No matter how tightly family members clung to hope, the material found in Bear's shelter held the power to define their fate and would soon command everyone's full attention. The evidence and testing. The moment of truth arrived when officers uncovered a suspicious white substance wrapped carefully and tucked away in Bear Brown's shelter. Tension seized the room, freezing every movement and amplifying the weight of unspoken fears. To his siblings and Bear himself, this discovery felt like the decisive blow, potential proof that could lead to devastating charges. Whispers quickly spread that the substance indicated substance possession, causing a wave of panic and uncertainty to ripple through the family and the surrounding community. Initial reactions from law enforcement were marked by certainty and condemnation. One member snapped fingers and declared the substance undeniable evidence of guilt, fueling an atmosphere thick with accusation. The leader of the team directly confronted Bear, questioning when he began what they claimed was a life of substance use and trafficking. Yet Bear maintained his innocence, stating he had no knowledge or involvement with substances, intensifying the emotional strain within the shelter. The siblings' faces fell into expressions of shame and pain, their earlier hope seemingly slipping through their fingers. Gabe urged calm and reason, suggesting they engage with the investigating officers to seek clarity and potentially save Bear's future. Their dialogue revealed the tension between fear of losing a brother and the desperate need for truth amid severe allegations. A seed of doubt was planted during these events when Bear asked an important question. What was the scientific method by which the substance was identified as a substance? This suspicion pointed out that the family's struggle might rely on the legitimacy of forensic methods rather than the visibility of the evidence. It was a sign of an upcoming battle between blatant accusations and the necessity of credible evidence. A turn of events marked a definite stage. A color spot test conducted by a forensic officer who came to the site with advanced apparatus. The purpose of the test was to either certify or annul the substance being a narcotic. The whole operation was slow and quiet, with only the scrutiny of Bear, his brothers and sisters, and the police around them as a sound. The atmosphere was tense with both expectation and fear, waiting for the outcome. When the technician at last shook his head in disbelief, it caused a commotion among the people. The color change that would signify a substance was not there. Thus, the very basic reason for the raid was weakened. The leader's expression revealed that he was baffled and annoyed as he tried to deal with the unexpected information that the substance was not what they had asserted. This occasion destroyed the certainty and opened a cautious way for Bear and the family. The fragile balance between truth and doubt plays out not only for Bear, but for the entire Brown family legacy as they prepare to face whatever the coming days and cameras will bring. Aftermath and future implications. The raid's resolution left the Brown family relieved yet uneasy. Though Bear Brown was cleared when the suspected substances proved to be caked salt, the ordeal cast a long shadow over their public image. What had been a story of resilience and close-knit family bonds was suddenly complicated by scrutiny and doubt. For Bear, the incident underscored how fragile trust can be when accusations take center stage. His reputation, once rooted in endurance and survival, now carries a more conflicted narrative. Many fans celebrated his vindication while others remained skeptical, creating a divide that threatens the Alaskan Bush People brand. Years of goodwill risk being eclipsed by controversy, leaving the future of the show and its support uncertain. The emotional toll on the family cannot be denied, although it is private. The stress of investigations brought their well-being and dynamics to the breaking point. Bear's siblings, who were his strongest supporters, took on the burden of seeing their world collapse under public scrutiny. Their togetherness is now very important as they slowly recover from both public and personal wounds. On the legal front, the case may not be completely closed. The investigators' covert return makes the situation tenser and keeps the family cautious, thus affecting the choices regarding privacy and future public appearances. In a larger context, the raid underscores the tenuous boundary between fame and personal life. The Browns, even though they are a bit distant from the modern world, are still prone to the influence of legal and media forces. Their patience will be put to the test as they re-establish trust and redefine their heritage. For Bear, this time indicates a possible turning point, one that could change his private journey and public image in the same way. Bear Brown's story reminds us that even the toughest among us face unexpected battles, both seen and unseen. His recent ordeal shows how fragile fame and trust can be, but also how resilience can shine through dark moments. If you found this story compelling, please like the video and subscribe for more updates on Bear Brown and the Alaskan Bush People.